First for Houston. At guard at 6'4" from Florida, number 11, Vernon Maxwell.
I'll be on your right.
At guard at 6'3" from North Carolina, number 30, Kenny Smith. At forward at 6'10" from Alabama, number 25, Robert Ory. At forward at 6'10" from Providence, number 33, Otis Thorpe. And at center at 7 feet from Houston, number 34, Hakeem Olajuwon. The trainer is Ray Melchior. Assistant coaches Carol Dawson and Bill Berry. And the head coach, Rudy Tomjanovich. And now, please welcome your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'5" from Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. At guard at 6'2" from UNLV, number 50, Greg Anthony. At forward at 6'10" from Pittsburgh, number 54, Charles Smith. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, an Eastern Conference All-Star, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The head trainer is Mike Saunders, the assistant trainer Tim Walsh, assistant coaches Dick Harder and Jeff Van Gundy, head coach for the Knicks, the 1993 Eastern Conference All-Star coach, Pat Riley.
Well, in light of the 42-point explosion by Hakeem Olajuwon against the Knicks back in mid-January in Houston, you may ask the question, John, what is the Knicks' approach in going up against Hakeem tonight? That's a topic that we touched on earlier with Pat Riley.
It's almost the same thing that Philly had to deal with the other night against Patrick. You know, when your big guy gets off and when the ball's being delivered to him on time, it's virtually impossible, you know, especially if you have a couple of perimeter guys that are knocking down some timely threes off a double team. So he just had an outstanding game. Their team played extremely well in the fourth quarter, and we just have to deal with it as the game progresses and see how it goes.
I would characterize that as a very gracious explanation of what happened in Houston. But I'm sure Riley's burning desire is to not see that again at all. Hakeem was out here, Marv, before the game shooting for a good half hour. I mean, the guy had a complete workout just running around shooting jumpers from all over the place.
And had a pretty fair game last night against the 76ers. Tonight's overhead camera shot brought to you by the Upper Deck Company. Nobody does basketball like Upper Deck. Set play, and Ory is able to convert, and he drew the foul and went flying. Robert Ory from the opening tip. And he'll go to the line. The foul committed by John Starks.
No coach on any level of basketball likes to see the tip, the opening tip of the game, go to the forward for a layup.
Robert Ory, rookie from Alabama, Houston's first-round draft pick, 11th selection overall. The Rockets with a 2-0 lead. Last night, the Rockets snapped a 2-game losing streak with a 98-90 victory over the Sixers at the Spectrum. Here's Charles Smith, way off the mark. And back come the Rockets. And last night, Hakeem, 26 points, 20 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 blocked shots, plus 2 steals. Good play by Greg Anthony.
Knicks pinched that ball. The big men came out and made that happen as well. Greg Anthony got that loose ball quickly.
Now Ewing, off a double team, Maxwell, able to strip him.
Sure, he held it too long.
Kenny Smith, he's been on fire as of late. Anthony played by Smith. Now Ory over to help. Ewing sets up down low. Here's Oakley. He's been hitting his shot. Olajuwon with the rebound. And back comes Smith. Houston has been a very good road team. Olajuwon firing one up. They have won 11, lost 12 on the road, but they've won 6 of the last 8 away from Houston. And this is the second of a 3-game road trip. Starks for Ewing. Yes, and the game is tied at 2.
Time was John Starks would make a move like that and continue and shoot it off balance or not. But now he knows to keep that head up and look for open people after the penetration.
Olajuwon spinning and drew the foul. The officials are Dan Crawford, Jim Clark, and Tommy Wood. Anthony was called for the personal, and here is Hakeem to the line.
Well, it's his mobility that makes him Superman. Look how far away he got from Ewing on that spinning move. I mean, he just left Patrick Ewing behind with his incredible lateral motion.
Olajuwon, a 76% free throw shooter. 42 points against the Knicks on the 16th of January. Most ever by a Rocket against the Knicks. Most points scored by an individual against the Knicks this season. Rockets with a 3-2 lead. Here's Starks. The Knicks lead 4-3.
The Rockets come in here with an aspect of the Knicks game on their minds that doesn't make them happy, and that is the physical style of the Knicks. You talk to the Houston coaching staff and even some of the players, and they're thinking about that. Nobody seems to bang bodies like the Knicks do, according to their perceptions.
Olajuwon lost it. Ewing with the steal. Rockets get back. Anthony played by Smith. And the double team, so Ewing gets it out. Greg Anthony showing more confidence with the outside shot, and his shot selection has come a long way. And John, you take a look at his shooting last 7 games, just under 60% from the field.
I don't know that I've seen him take a jump shot more comfortably than that last one.
Horry with a wild shot. Anthony feeding Smith, gets it over to Oakley. Here's Thorpe from the outlet. Maxwell, the 3-point range. Bernard Maxwell, who certainly enjoys to pop the shots up from downtown, hits on his first attempt.
In the Knicks game preparation, 3-point shooting has to be something on the Knicks' mind. Over the last 5 games, the Houston Rockets have averaged 18 3-point shot attempts a game.
And Smith rejected. Charles Smith stopped by Robert Horry. Knicks and Rockets tied at 6. It is Maxwell again. And the Rockets lead by 2. Recall following the Knicks loss in Houston, the Knicks had that closed-door meeting, very upset about the defeat. That's the game that saw Greg Anthony attempt that last-second shot going right at Olajuwon, who got a piece of it. Maxwell called for the foul. And that for the Knicks, their 4th straight loss at the Summit in Houston.
Well, the Knicks that triggered the meeting, that game, but the Knicks had not been happy to that point at their play together, their lack of togetherness, and that was the one that got them all together for that meeting.
Well, Ewing firing one from deep, and it looked like Hakeem got a piece of it. Game is tied at 8. Patrick Ewing coming off the terrific effort against the Sixers Monday night at the Spectrum. Season high 40 points. Hakeem now being played by Oakley. Goes to the spin. Shot clock at 6. Here's Smith, and he's fouled. Hard driving move by Kenny Smith.
Kenny Smith has been on a good roll, Marv, as you mentioned. Nobody got in front of him. Isn't that amazing? All the Knicks were on either side of him, but nobody got in front of him. But he has been playing well of late.
Last 2 games, 19 points, 10 assists. Previous game against Washington, he had a season high of 30. Kenny Smith, out of Queens from Archbishop Malloy High School, in his 6th NBA season. And the Rockets with a 10-8 lead. Charles Smith bothered as of late by the flu, trying to get back into it. Starks through the foul. John Starks will go to the line. Olajuwon called for his first. John Starks getting the starting nod, so Pat Riley will go with Rolando Blackman off the bench tonight.
Well, John Starks has been on such an incredible roll. When you look at the last 6 games, for example, he's at over 20 points a game. He had a team leading and a season-high 9 assists the other night against Philadelphia, but to be where he is now at 6 assists a game over this stretch is just tremendous for him. It shows you how aware he is of giving the ball up now.
Here's Smith. Yes. And the Knicks lead by 1. Charles Smith the other night in Philadelphia started the game after sitting out the previous game because of the flu. Played only 5 minutes, went 0 for 2 from the field. Olajuwon with a wild shot. Rebound handled by Ewing. And the pass off the mark. Taken by Smith. Maxwell for 3. And Starks is fouled. Timeout has been called. Olajuwon is called for that foul.
Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Well, they've met 13 times over their respective careers, and Akeem and Patrick have had some mighty tussles. Akeem leading the way in most of the in all of the categories, shooting and numbers of rebounding and block shots, but Patrick's right behind him. 8 wins for Houston and 5 for the Knicks over that time.
And Olajuwon sitting down after picking up his second foul. 3 Rollins has checked in. Charles Smith hits his second consecutive jump shot. The Knicks lead by 3. Incidentally, during the course of that 13-game matchup, Patrick Ewing's Knicks have won 5, and Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets have won 8.
3 seconds.
And here's Maxwell. Starks for 3. And a loose ball foul is called. Charles Oakley called for his first.
Charles Smith has hit those 2 jumpers, which have to serve as a big lift for him, but both of them were off motion where he took the shots without having someone clinging to him. And he also got a pick on the last one.
Rollins up front now with Horry and Thorpe, Maxwell, and Smith in the backcourt. Thorpe down low for the jump hook. Horry fronting Smith. Ewing, yes.
Oh, Marv, the value and beauty of a pick for the shooter. Ewing also, like Smith's prior basket, time to shoot, line up the basket.
Patrick Ewing has hit 3 for 3. He has 6 points. The Knicks lead by 5. 7-0 run by the Knicks. Again, Thorpe down low. And this time gets the roll. The Knicks 15, the Rockets 12.
Otis Thorpe is a very big body at 6'10".
Knocked out of bounds by Rollins. The Knicks with 5 straight wins, 9 of the last 10. But major tests coming up, starting with the game tonight, then tomorrow night in Chicago, Sunday afternoon. They face Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic in Orlando. And Ewing continues the hot shooting. A beautiful move to give the Knicks a 5-point lead.
Well, as tough a shot blocker as Tree Rollins is, he couldn't deal with the quickness of Ewing.
4.5 remaining. First quarter. Maxwell, and that is an offensive foul. A charge, good play by Charles Oakley. Oakley able to make the slide to his right, and he drew the foul.
Well, this quality of Oakley and other Knicks players is different from the Rockets from what I hear, Marv. People that follow them tell me that when you see the Rockets guards particularly take a charge, take note, because it rarely happens.
Beautiful pass from Smith, setting up Starks. The Knicks with a good-looking start here in the first quarter, lead by 7. Maxwell lost it and regained. Again, the Knicks with a good defensive play. Coaches love deflections, and Pat Riley getting quite a few here in this first quarter.
Yes, assistant coaches are given the job of counting the deflections.
Robert Horry. Now Kenny Smith shooting. Starks for Smith. Yes. Well, Charles Smith on a roll. And apparently there's a problem with the clock, which from at least the naked eye was stuck at 4:03. It now shows 4:02. A timeout has been called by Houston. Knicks lead it 21-12.
There we were, a jillion miles outside of the hood. The bus got a flat. God knows.
Playing team basketball. Look at Charles Oakley set that pick. He took quite a shot. No foul, of course. But Ewing hit that jumper because he had time. Now Patrick got the ball down low, and Tree Rollins, Elijah already on the bench with 2 fouls, and Patrick's quickness overcame Rollins' presence.
The Knicks in the midst of a 13-2 run. They have outscored the Rockets 10-2 since Elijah sat down. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Now they're feeling that this is illegal defense call. This an extended quarter. I don't think the clock was running for a spell.
Yes, the fans here are going to get a few more seconds of NBA basketball, and they bought.
Rudy Tomjanovich staying with Tree Rollins at center. After Elijah picked up his second foul, Rollins tried to get it down low on the hop, deflected out by the Knicks. So it's Houston ball with 16 on the shot clock. Horry played by Smith. Here's Thorpe. The Knicks 21 and the Rockets 14. Otis Thorpe in his 9th year out of Providence, usually among the leading percentage shooters in the NBA for the most part. His shots from close in, he's been shooting at 56% from the field. Rollins called for the foul following that timeout. Winston Garland checked in for the first time, so Garland has come on, replacing Vernon Maxwell. Knicks by 7 as we come up on 3 minutes to go. First quarter, there's the double team on Ewing. Knicks regroup. Starks around Garland. Yes. Knicks lead 23-14. A terrific first step by John Starks.
Well, when you give up the baseline, as Garland did, you lose the opportunity and help. Robert Horry on that jump shot. What range he has.
Robert Horry came into the NBA noted as a defensive specialist, but they have found that he can also score. Anthony with a nice move.
Also going left and along baseline briefly. Anthony had a clear path to the basket.
Knicks lead by 9. Anthony Mason getting set to check in. Rollins will not shoot. Horry does. So Horry with his 3rd bucket. He's 3 out of 4. The Knicks lead 25-18. Starks saw the opening, then had it knocked away.
I'm going to go into one of my comparisons again, Marv.
Yes.
I hope you're ready. I know you're a Scottie Pippen expert, having done so many of their games. I see some Horry qualities of Pippen in his motion and the way he shoots that jump shot and how loose he is. You buy?
Well, there's a long way to go, but John, I hate to say it, as Kenny Smith drills one home. I agree with you. That kind of potential is there.
I've also heard Gene Peterson, the broadcaster for the Rockets, was telling me before the game of some incredibly spectacular type dunks and follow-ups that Ori has taken the breath of many people away with, similar to what Pippen can do.
Bree Rollins call for the foul. Rolando Blackman, Anthony Mason replaced Charles Oakley and John Starks. Anthony Mason coming off a sensational game against the Sixers Monday night. 15 points, career high, 18 rebounds. He played 48 minutes in that overtime game. You know, you look back to the career of Scottie Pippen, and it's a career that has progressed over the years. So, you know, here's Robert Horry in his rookie season. A lot can happen. He's 6'8", 220, is exceptional defensive player and tremendous all-around athlete. So the skills are there.
Yes, he's very fluid, and his fluidity reminds me somewhat of Pippen.
Minute and a half remaining in this first quarter. Another long shot by Horry.
Get the point now, right?
He is 4 out of 5. He has 8 points. 27-22. The Knicks with the lead. Ewing with the drop step. Patrick Ewing, 5 for 5 from the field. 12 points in all.
Well, Tree Rollins is being exposed. Tree Rollins is a very tall man at 7'1", but he plays the fewest minutes on this team. So he's not ready for long duration play against the likes of Patrick Ewing, and that's showing itself now.
Horry, rare miss for the rookie. Anthony protecting. 40 seconds to go in the quarter. Knicks with the ball, 7-point lead. Blackman dishes it back. Anthony, and it will count. Anthony and Rollins both hit the deck. The basket counts on the goaltend plus a foul.
Well, Tree Rollins is number 3 on all-time shot blocks. He came over rather quickly with a good effort, but the officials felt that it was a split second too late as Greg Anthony succeeded. Another look at it from our overhead cam. Pretty good motion by Rollins, but too late.
And here's your guy, the guy that you humiliated on the air when we were in Houston. You posed the question, who is Matt Bullard?
That's right.
And we have received quite a bit of mail, John.
Marvin, I'll tell you something.
Since Marvin? Oh, Marv, I'm sorry.
That's okay, Marvin. That is your name, Marvin. Since that time, Rudy Tomjanovich has been asking the question, where is Matt Bullard?
Yes, he has.
Where has he been since the Knicks left town?
I think he raised expectations with that particular game, but you were all over Matt as he checked in. Matt is, as most of our viewers are well aware, a second-year player out of Iowa. And he went out and hit 5 out of 7, just killed the Knicks, 3 out of 4 from downtown as his statement in your direction.
Well,
but he's been quiet.
See if the sight of the Knicks uniforms can snap him out of his slump since the Knicks left town.
The Knicks by 10, and the Rockets holding for a final shot. Shot clock at 5. Shot clock at 3. Bullard gives it up. Garland. That was 24-second buzzer. Final seconds of the quarter. Anthony for Campbell. And that's the end of the first. Good quarter for the Knicks. They lead by 10.
It's almost as if someone once said, just in case people like sunshine and water, we'd better make Florida. And we'd better make miles of beautiful beaches and places like St. Augustine and Key West, just in case people want to go to them. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, all across America. And nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including the ones that run through a state that's named after sunshine.
If you want your tape recordings to sound like your CDs, there are 3 things to remember. PDK, At Nobody Beats the Whiz, a 3-pack of SAX100 is just $7.95. Buy 4 high bias tapes for $7.96 and get 1 free. And a 10-pack of 90-minute tape is only $8.90. Remember, PDK in, crystal clear audio out. PDK tape at Nobody Beats the Whiz. The tape that music sticks to better.
You know you want it.
You're right. I want it.
It's the BMW 525i.
I know. I want it bad.
So bad. Real bad.
Did you know you can handle it?
This car was born to be handled.
Well, for a limited time, you can really handle the 525i. With special low-interest finance rates and special low lease rates.
I can handle it.
The 525i. Now it's even easier to handle at your Tri-State BMW dealer.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Reebok, who reminds you that life is short, play hard. And by Nissan, it's time to expect more from a car.
When Yannick Noah played the game of tennis, whether it was on the cement at Flushing Meadow or the clay at Roland Garros, he was one of the most exciting tennis players of all time. When he was 11, he met a man by the name of Arthur Ashe in his native Cameroon, and Arthur went on to have a major impact on your life. I know that, Yannick. Yesterday, you were in Richmond, Virginia, with the rest of the world to say goodbye to him. What was that like?
Well, it was a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of beautiful memories, but the ceremony went very well, a lot of dignity. Everybody respected Arthur so much. It was a good way to say goodbye to Arthur. It was a beautiful experience. I'll never forget driving from the center, Arthur Ashe Jr. Center, toward the cemetery and see all these kids, all these people, you know, paying respect, and with all the banners saying how much they loved Arthur. It was really beautiful to see.
Thank you, Yannick. Marvin John, he'll be heading back to Paris tomorrow with one less friend, as we all are. Back to you.
All right, Al, opening minute, second quarter, and Carl Herrera able to hit on his first field goal attempt. The Knicks now lead 32-24. We'll set the lineups, both clubs making changes. Patrick Ewing over Hakeem, who stepped away because he's playing with 2 fouls, and Ewing continues the hot shooting. He now has 14 points. He's hit 6 of 7 from the field. Scott Brooks working against Doc Rivers. This is Winston Garland feeding Olajuwon. Now Garland shoots and overshoots. Rebounded by Campbell. Campbell up front with Ewing and Mason. Rivers and Blackman are in the backcourt. With the good ball movement, and Campbell not able to get the roll. Back comes Garland. Matt Bullitt up front with Carl Herrera, Hakeem Olajuwon, Winston Garland in the backcourt with Scott Brooks. Garland forced the issue and was fortunate to get the foul call. Blocking foul called on Campbell. So Garland will go to the free throw line.
At the end of the first quarter, Greg Anthony walked off the court with a little bit of a limp, and he's been getting some attention at the end of the Knicks bench now. Had his ankle retaped moments ago.
And Herb Williams jumping off the bench. He'll come on in a moment. Winston Garland, side of the free agent. He was waived by Denver in early December. He's played for Golden State, Clippers, and the Nuggets.
I was asking the Houston coaching staff about the disappearance of Sleepy Floyd. He doesn't get much playing time these days, and they said it was strictly because of the play of Garland, who has been playing very well.
Off the rejection, Brooks sets up Garland. Alley-oop for Olajuwon. And that is his first field goal.
That was a pass from Winston Garland.
Knicks by 6, 2 minutes into the second quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutwood, Walt, Clyde Frazier from the Garden. Anthony Mason. Anthony Mason with the nice fadeaway against Matt Bullard. And here's Olajuwon on a fadeaway shot. So both clubs shooting well. Knicks lead 36-30. Now Mason trying the other side and then gets it out. Blackman from deep. He's been off. Mason hustles it down. calling out a play. And we're told that Greg Anthony is okay and will eventually return. Lively pass saved by Rivers. And Rivers for three. Yes! Doug Rivers from deep in the corner.
It had the look of confusion, but the end was perfect.
3 minutes gone by in the second. The Knicks 39, the Rockets 30. Olajuwon looking to beat the double team, and it was knocked away. Last touch by the Knicks. Herb Williams coming on for Patrick Ewing. And Ewing hears it from the crowd. 6 for 7. 14 points, 6 rebounds. Bullard off the inbounds, rebounded by Blackman. Has it knocked away. The steal by Olajuwon. And Winston Garland is hurt. Garland is down. Play continues. Here's Bullard for 3. Olajuwon. 39-32. Knicks by 7. Winston Garland still on the floor. Knicks have a 5-on-4 advantage. Campbell converts. And I would think, well, yes, what's it going to take? It's a power play. A Knick power play. And it worked. But Winston Garland now being checked by the Rocket trainer, Ray Melchiori. Here's another look at it from overhead.
Garland looked like he was tied up with Blackman and came down and isn't wearing the look of pain on his face. It's almost as if he's tied up on the floor.
Tough couple of games physically for Winston Garland against the Knicks. You may recall this incident, which was not pretty. He went down and Greg Anthony kicked him, which was not appreciated, and it led to that aftermath. This time Greg safely tucked away on the bench so he could not get at him. But Winston Garland appears to be okay. He is replaced by Vernon Maxwell. Rocket ball now as we resume. Both clubs have shot well in the second quarter. First quarter, Knicks were 14 for 20 from the field. Houston at 9 of 20. That was intended for Olajuwon. Comes to Brooks off the glass. Three-point attempt by Maxwell. Campbell for Mason. Campbell open, wide open. Rebound Mason.
What's great about Mason is he sees somebody in good position, he gives the ball up. I mean, he has such good instincts as a team player when he has the ball.
The Knicks by 11. It's their biggest lead of the night. Oh, Herb Williams took it out of the hands of Hakeem Olajuwon. What a play by Herb Williams. Rivers for Mason. And Olajuwon was able to get it to Herrera. Bullard stopped by Williams, and a foul is called. Matt Bullard will go to the line. Blackman called for the foul.
Herb Williams with the alert hands gets that one hand on the ball and figures, let me stay with this and get my other hand involved, and lo and behold, he came up with it. Unusual play. Nice instincts by Herb Williams, but the Knicks couldn't turn that into points at the other end.
Bullard, an 83% free throw shooter. The Knicks lead by 10. 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Rivers working against Brooks. Blackman played by Maxwell. And that is a leg block, so the Knicks get a new 24. And the Knicks call for time. The Knicks 43, Rockets 33.
Tell your boss.
No, but I see.
And his dad.
I see the big guy next to him.
Smokin' Joe.
Hey, remove that hat, buddy. How about the guy behind him?
And Tom Brokaw checking the action out from courtside. John McEnroe
John was in a hurry, I guess, getting here tonight.
Oh, a little
right?
shot here. It is a star-studded night. That's Timothy Hutton.
Big night.
Knicks with a 10-point lead.
If you were sitting behind Joe Frazier with the hat on, I guess what you see.
Get that hat off, fella.
Would you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Softly, or would you give him a little smack on the back? Would you just take it off?
John, in life, you must take charge. If things bother you,
I'll try and remember that.
here's Olajuwon. Nice move by Olajuwon. He has 9. The Knicks 45, the Rockets 35. Patrick Ewing off to a terrific start, getting a rest right now. He's the high man for the Knicks with 14 as Olajuwon got an early foul trouble. Doc Rivers saw the opportunity. So Doc has hit his first 2, the previous shot from three-point range.
See how quiet and soft Olajuwon gets now with 2 fouls. Normally he'd be challenging that shot by Rivers, but he doesn't want the 3rd foul.
Scott Brooks will go to the line. He was fouled by Herb Williams, but Robert Warriors have the hot hand, getting set to return. The Knicks have to be pleased, though, with the aggressive defensive play of Herb Williams. He stripped Olajuwon, made a strong move right after that, although the Knicks were called for a foul. And a hard foul given up by Herb on Scott Brooks.
Scott Brooks hurt the Knicks badly in Houston. He had a terrific game. He's doing a good job for this team this season. In fact, he had 10 points, a couple of assists, 4 out of 5 from the field. His contributions were all very timely down there in that hard-fought game.
John, he's had his share of good moments against the Knicks as a member of the 76ers, as a member of the Timberwolves. Rivers, same spot for 3. Rebound, Campbell. Double pump. And again, Olajuwon did not want to pick up his 3rd.
It's amazing to see the NBA's leading shot blocker all of a sudden not play his natural instinctive way.
Knicks with their biggest lead, a margin of 13. Maxwell on the penetration. Rebound, Olajuwon. So the Knicks now lead 49-38. And Hakeem with 11 points. All the scoring here in the second quarter. Blackman. Yes. Rolando hits, and Mason having words with Thorpe. And technical fouls will be called. Now the game in Houston, Robert Horry got involved. It's Mason and Horry hit with the technicals, double technicals, so no free throws involved.
Boy, official Danny Crawford was all over that situation. He didn't want to hear anything either from either player.
Good reaction by the officials to break that one up quickly. Knicks lead 51-38. 4:45 remaining in the first half. Olajuwon and Rivers with the rebound. Mason putting the move on Thorpe.
Oh, wait a minute. That had a message. That was offensive in more ways than one.
And the foul is called on Thorpe.
Thorpe has something to say about this. Mason wanted to draw the foul for scoring points, but he wanted to make points with Thorpe because of their last meeting seconds before. Otis, you're going down at 6'10", 250 or so.
But Otis Thorpe's complaints were with the officials.
Moments ago, though, at the other end of the court, these two were entwined in a little bit of a contest. It really didn't go anywhere, but Danny Crawford, the official, came in, called double technical.
Anthony Mason, 68% free throw shooter. Knicks lead 53-38 in what has been a solid first half. 4.5 remaining. And now Mason is called for the foul. He has to be careful, though, from the Knicks' point of view, that he does not pick up a second technical. Herb Williams sitting down. Well, we'll monitor this right throughout. No one to this point has asked Smoking Joe to remove the hat. Maxwell, offensive foul. Setting the illegal pick, and he's called for his third. Here's John Starks checking in. Rudy Tomjanovich not pleased with what has taken place the last couple of minutes. Rudy T, his first full season as head coach of the Rockets. He is a lifer with the Houston Rockets. Been around for 22 of the Rockets, 25 years as player, coach, now head coach, longtime assistant. Knicks with the ball and a 15-point lead. Rivers for Ewing, who just checked back in, lost the handle, and let's see what the call is. He threw the pass to himself, although Patrick is claiming that Olajuwon got a piece of it, so the ball goes back to the Rockets. The Knicks did outscore the Rockets 14-8 with Ewing out of the game. Orlando Blackman forced to leave because of a cut on his forearm. That's a foul on Ewing. Ewing committing his first.
He's got something coming behind that too, Marv. He was very verbal because he was angry from the other end of the court. He felt he was fouled by Olajuwon. This foul was called, and he was still stewing over the last situation. It is interesting how Patrick can lecture his teammates sometimes on keeping their cool, and it's difficult for him sometimes to do the same. Foul called on Ewing, and he took off on Danny Crawford, the official.
Kenny Smith hit the technical, and now here is Olajuwon to the free throw line. He's hit 1 out of 2 from the line. Well, many folks in Houston did not think that Hakeem would be back in light of his bickering with Charlie Thomas, the Rockets chairman of the board. There was so much trade speculation during the course of the offseason, but here is Hakeem still wearing the Rockets uniform and having his best all-around season in the NBA. Charles Smith, who just returned, sets up Patrick Ewing. And Olajuwon with the rebound.
Interesting part of that story, Marv, was that Hakeem and Charlie Thomas ended up on a plane across the Pacific when they opened the season over in Asia, and they talked things out, and everything got soothed down after that. Communication, once again, is a very important part of successful relationships.
Here's Mason. He tried to finesse it after making the strong move to the hoop. Pops it back out. Smith and Maxwell at the guards. Herrera, Horry, and Olajuwon up front. Just under 3 minutes remaining. First half. Herrera backing Smith and stopped by Smith. Good save by Starks. Mason did not have the shot and regroups. Ewing. Yes. Oh, what a touch.
All that motion, too. That's amazing.
Olajuwon complaining nicely, though, that Ewing should have been called for a travel. Hakeem has the big smile. And now a foul called on Rivers. Timeout call with 2:22 remaining. First half.
Guys in the Garden, back to you.
Oh, that's Smoking Joe. Intimidating without even saying anything. Or maybe it's Marvis. I don't know.
Maybe it's a Joe Frazier lookalike. Wouldn't that be the joke, huh?
That'd be right, Joe. 2:22 remaining in this first half. And the Knicks lead the Rockets 55-43. Knicks have had their way off the boards. 23-14. Greg Anthony is back in the backcourt with John Starks. Starks saw the opening. The Knicks 57. The Rockets 43. Kenny Smith and Vernon Maxwell now at the guards. Rockets back to their starters. Olajuwon up front with Ori and Herrera. Maxwell. And back comes Smith. So Smith, Oakley, and Ewing on the front line with Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Oh, the entry pass of Starks is terrific to Ewing. Smith. And Herrera gets to it.
Seems when Charles Smith is under pressure, he doesn't make the shots. He has that little extra moment of time. He's a different shooter.
Smith to this point, 3 of 6. Olajuwon with the spin, hit the deck. Anthony protecting against Ori, who had a notion to go for the swipe. We are down to 1 minute remaining. First half. Starks. Rebound Oakley. So the Knicks reset. Here's Starks. Yes.
John Starks, the second option off the high pick sent by Ewing, and Greg Anthony just waited for him to come around that pick.
The Knicks by 16. With a half-minute left in this first half. Good defensive work by the Knicks. Maxwell gets it back to Olajuwon, and he's bottled up. Here comes Starks. Smith is back. Starks with the spin, and he drew the foul. Ori called for his first.
Well, in the open court, John Starks feels that he cannot be denied. He will get the shot off. Rudy Tomjanovich very unhappy about that ball.
And he's been hit with a technical. Technical foul on Houston Rockets coach Rudy Tomjanovich.
Danny Crawford's having a heck of a half.
Oh, yes.
That's his 4th technical call. He's tough.
And with the grand slam here in the first half, and Starks hits the tee. There it is. And
oh, that was the replay.
I know you're easily confused.
I know, he's got me going now. Rudy's a little calmer, though, now in his objections.
Seconds remaining in the half. The Knicks 61, the Rockets 43. Most points and a half by the Knicks this season. 63. Our crack statistician Dave Freak firing the numbers at us. That occurred against the Chicago Bulls in the second half in late November. And let's see, Jim Clark blowing the whistle said the foul shot counts.
The second free throw was good. And then there was a loose ball foul.
And a loose ball foul on Oakley, who was angling for position. That's an unusual call. You rarely see it in the NBA.
We talk about numbers, Marv. The Rockets right now at 43 points. We'll take a look now at Charles Oakley doing a little banging underneath the basket there. Banging with the shoulders turned into pushing with the hands. And that's what the foul was all about. They have 43 on the board now. They had 37 points in the 4th quarter of their game in Houston. 37 alone. Boy, the Knicks curtailed the Rockets.
And that turns out to be a good foul by Oakley. The Knicks are over the limit. Knicks may have exchanged 1 point for 2 right here. Let's see. Knicks now lead 62-44. They have 15 seconds to go in the half. Down to 10. 18-point Knick lead. The 5. Ewing with the pick. Starks for 3. And time has run out. Kenny Smith just wide on that, playing a sensational first half for the New York Knicks. They lead the Houston Rockets by the score of 62-44. Bob Page coming up at halftime in a moment. Then Alan Walt will take a look at the highlights. The Knicks led by Ewing with 16, Starks with 14. We'll be right back.
There are plenty of light beers out there.
Amstel Light, right?
But if you're looking for one that's not like all those other lights, if you're looking for one that's imported and tastes that way,
Amstel Light? Right.
if you're looking for one that has a full, rich taste, one that has everything you love about beer,
Amstel Light, right?
if that's what you're looking for in a light beer, then the choice comes down to one.
Bartender? Right.
New Orleans is very much a food city.
Where'd you have dinner last night?
People come here to eat. They want an experience.
Well, what did you have?
And it's not supposed to taste like it was cooked in Florida. It's supposed to taste like it was cooked in New Orleans. This is home. So we find the American Express card, it makes the customer feel so at ease, and you never get caught short.
American Express is welcomed at Commander's Palace and other hot spots.
Every year for 9 years, Schick has brought to college campuses the world's toughest half-court 3-on-3 intramural tournament. Playing nice now.
It's bad enough Honda's having this President's Month event, but if they think I'm going to walk around in this outfit, they're crazy. This is undignified. Even George Washington looks silly in this. I don't need gimmicks. I sell Hondas, Accords, Civics, Preludes, and the new Del Sol. All right, this is it. I'm not dressing up like George Washington for anybody. I'm going to walk right in there and talk some sense into these people.
It's President's Month at your Tri-Honda dealer.
I told them a thing or two.
Say, you should play Take 5, the game 500,000 New Yorkers win every week. Be a winner. Play Take 5.
Knicks trying to do at Madison Square Garden what they have already done to Portland and Chicago here at the Garden. Suffocate them with defense. Couple that with great shooting and some fabulous first-half performances. And the Knicks lead the Houston Rockets by the score of 62-44. Rockets coming in having won 13 of their last 17. We'll have more, of course, but first, here's Bob Page at the Sports Desk.
Thank you, Al. Good evening again, everybody. This just into a Celtic star center, Robert Parrish, was arrested today at his home in Weston, Massachusetts by police who charged him with possession of 5 ounces of marijuana after they had obtained a search warrant to look for same. On the court tonight in the NBA, Orlando winning at Charlotte 54-53 at halftime, a matchup of two of the premier young big men in the game today. Shaquille O'Neal, Alonzo Mourning. Give that one to Shaquille. Dunks right in Alonzo's face. 25-21, Orlando after one. Shaquille 14 points in the first half. And hold on to your hats for this one. That's Tom Tolbert, who had 18 first-half points. That made it 29-22 Magic in the second quarter. The NBA continues to review the videotapes of last night's Michael Jordan-Reggie Miller set to in the Bulls win at Indiana. Yes, it was an absolute travesty that Jordan was not ejected for scratching Miller's face and punching him, and yet Miller and Pacers coach Bob Hill were kicked out of the game.
The bottom line in this whole thing is some of these players have become so commercialized, they've become bigger than the league in some instances. And, you know, even no matter how much they fine Michael Jordan, he makes more than all the officials together from his Nike contract. So, you know, he needs to get rid of some of it anyway. So it's, you know, they'll probably let him write it off.
In college basketball tonight, Rutgers losing at West Virginia 37-31 halftime. More right after this.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free.
It's almost as if someone once said, just in case people like sunshine and water, we'd better make Florida. And we'd better make miles of beautiful beaches and places like St. Augustine and Key West, just in case people want to go to them. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, all across America. And nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including the ones that run through a state that's named after sunshine.
In about the time it takes you to read this, the new Jeep Grand Cherokee can go from 0 to 60. In about the time it takes you to read this, Grand Cherokee can go from 60 to 0. And in a fraction of the time it takes you to read this, the award-winning Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo could save your life. Maybe it's time for you to test drive one now at your Jeep and Eagle dealer.
There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your tri-state Jeep and Eagle dealers.
A very moving and very emotional news conference today at Manhattan's Mount Sinai Hospital for Dennis Byrd. Byrd wanted to say goodbye before being discharged and heading home to Tulsa tomorrow. He actually got to the podium on his own. An amazing recovery aided by a special friend atop the Jet organization.
But for what I thank him the most for, and what's been the most dear to me, is the way that he's treated me. I've looked up to this man in the last 2.5 months, very much like I would look up to a grandfather. This man is Leon Hess, as many of you could have guessed. And to him, I owe everything, the success of what's happened, of what he's done for me. And Mr. Hess, thank you very much. And I can say that I love you.
And finally, our Chutzpah Award this week goes to Bobby Humphrey, who took it upon himself to call Don Shula and tell his coach not to worry, because the gunshot wound, the cocaine, and the aggravated assault charges would not interfere with Humphrey's football career. It could not be determined whether Don Shula thinks they will interfere with Humphrey's football career. The second half in just a moment.
In the beginning, there was just science.
So we added a pitch-dark touch tunnel, a saltwater beach,
Incredible laser displays.
an insect zoo,
A real indie race car.
a make-your-own music studio, the biggest IMAX movie screen in the world,
As well as tons of hands-on exhibits on technology
health.
and the environment.
Then we put it all in this huge building at Liberty State Park, just next door to the Statue of Liberty.
Liberty Science Center. It's where science equals fun.
It's bad enough Honda's having this President's Month event, but if they think I'm going to walk around in this outfit, they're crazy. This is undignified. Even George Washington looks silly in this. I don't need gimmicks. I sell Hondas, Accords, Civics, Preludes, and the new Del Sol. All right, this is it. I'm not dressing up like George Washington for anybody. I'm going to walk right in there and talk some sense into these people.
It's President's Month at your Tri-Honda dealer.
I told them a thing or two.
Wade Boggs, Don Mattingly. The 93 hit parade begins in March. Yankees baseball on MSG Network.
At Continental Bank, we try to get to you with solutions before you realize you need them. Continental Bank, anticipating the needs of business. At Continental Bank, we try to get to you with solutions before you realize you need them. Continental Bank, anticipating the needs of business.
Outpass your opponents at home in the NBA, you can win big. Knicks by 18. As we take a look at the leading scorer summary brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Patrick Ewing, 16 points, leading the way for the Knicks with 8 rebounds. John Starks starting tonight, 5 of 8 from the floor, 14 points. Switching things over to the Houston Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon with 13 points and 8 rebounds. Very similar numbers to Ewing's. After that, Robert Horry, Smith, and Maxwell, single digits the rest of the way, and a very limp attack by the Houston Rockets. I think Patrick Ewing was very energized by your selection in Knicks game night as the top center in the NBA, Clyde.
Yeah, and he's been playing that way for the last 2 weeks. Ewing omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent in this game, obliterating Hakeem with uncontested perimeter shots, but also give his teammates credit. They've been able to get penetration. Ewing has gone to the open spot.
A lot of O words there. I'll give you one more. Offense. That's our highlight story as we turn to that. Brought to you by Minolta, creators of the world's most responsive SLR cameras, the new Maxim XI series. Patrick Ewing showing a lot of variety tonight to Hakeem Olajuwon.
His full repertoire, this time posting and toasting over Tree Rollins. So that time poor D by Rollins allowing him to post 12 feet away.
Here's a move I'd love to see more of from Patrick Ewing, Clyde.
Yeah, but just watch his composure here, not forcing anything, very perceptive aggressive, just wheeling and dealing that time as well.
That time going glass. Hakeem from the floor shooting 5 of 10. Some of the shots were a little bit erratic, but not this one.
Yeah, a lot of imprudent shots. So this shows the splendor of this man. Amazing grace.
So in this, the 14th meeting between these two big centers, the Toyota matchup spells out a pretty even affair between Patrick Ewing and Hakeem Olajuwon. Ewing with 3 more points, shooting slightly better, same number of rebounds. Hakeem with 3 blocks to Patrick Ewing's none. Hakeem, by the way, registering block number 200 last night. That's 9 consecutive seasons with 200 blocks or more, the first NBA player to do that. When we come back to the Garden, it's Marv and John and a very special ceremony for Patrick Ewing.
Off the grade, looking for Gardner in the net. Score!
Trump's Castle Casino, take 1.
Come to the Castle in Atlantic City. It's more than a hotel. It's a 4-star resort. How about this? It's got action. It's got nightlife. The whole deal. It's too much. It's too much, isn't it? I like that. You're gonna love it.
Isn't it wonderful? A tire so special, it may last as long as you own your car. The XH4. Congratulations. It's a Michelin.
You can own a set of Michelin radio and get more mileage for less money. The Michelin XH4 80,000-mile radio is even more affordable through December 20th. See us for details. Look for our ads in Newsday or visit one of the 10 WTC Auto Centers today.
At Forest Green Co-op Apartments in Islip, owning is affordable as never before. It's a home with your own style. It's taking a swim just steps from your door and not getting sand in your shoes. It's working out in the exercise center. It's entertaining friends in the clubhouse. It's just seconds from the station and minutes from the shore. Owning can happen for only $39,000 and financing's available. At Forest Green in Islip, owning is the way to live. Call us today.
Then it's time to do business with Pape Chevrolet Geo of Huntington. You know about our reputation for excellence, our 35 years experience selling America's best cars and trucks. So shop around, talk to the other guys. When you're serious about buying a car or truck, come to Pape. The best prices, the greatest selection, for every lifestyle, for every need. It's Pape Chevrolet Geo of Huntington. When you're serious about buying.
Welcome back to the arena here at the Garden, where the Knicks hold a commanding 62-44 lead. We're getting ready for the second half, but first, some Barcelona memories for the Knicks All-Star Center.
To honor the achievements of the USA Olympic basketball team, C.M. Newton, president of USA Basketball, is presenting Patrick Ewing with a ring commemorating the team's gold medal performance. The 1992 Olympic men's basketball rings were produced and contributed by the L.G. Balfour Company. The rings are made of 10-karat gold with 5 diamonds depicting the symbolic Olympic rings. In addition to the gold medal and date, each ring is adorned with each Dream Team member's name and jersey number. Joining C.M. Newton for the presentation are Steve Andrian and Jim Caparucio, regional sales reps for the L.G. Balfour Company. Congratulations to Patrick and the members of the Dream Team for bringing home the gold.
Yes, they were the buzz of the world, certainly the buzz of Barcelona, the Dream Team. And in the middle of it all with Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, and the others was Patrick Ewing wearing number 6. They virtually blew out everyone they played, attracting a crowd everywhere they went. Michael Jordan for Patrick Ewing, the greatest basketball team ever assembled, winning the gold medal, and for Patrick, gold medal number 2. He'll start things off with the Knicks in the middle of it all in the second half. Marv Albert and John Andres standing by.
All right, Al, and Patrick Ewing with an excellent first half, contributing to that 58%. Nick shooting 26 for 45 overall. Ewing was 7 for 10, starts 5 out of 8, and the Knicks dominated off the glass.
Also led by Patrick Ewing with 8 of the team's 26. Knicks scoring down low with Olajuwon in foul trouble. The Knicks were able to operate more effectively around the basket. A Midas bench breakdown. Knicks are in the good pattern now of getting tremendous help off the bench. Mason, Rivers doing a good job in that area. The Rockets not getting anywhere near that kind of balance from their bench.
Hakeem Olajuwon collecting the 2 fouls early that took him out. Rudy Tomjanovich going to Tree Rollins, and Patrick Ewing caught fire in his first 5 field goal attempts. Hakeem did not score in the first quarter and then reeled off 13 points in the second. Third quarter is underway. The Knicks 62 and the Rockets 44. Greg Anthony, John Starks open to the backcourt. Charles Smith, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing. Up front, here's Ewing. Yes. So he gets right to it. And the Knicks extend to a 20-point advantage. Kenny Smith and Vernon Maxwell at the guards. Hakeem Olajuwon, Otis Thorpe, and Robert Horry are up front. Maxwell down low to Thorpe. Through the double team. Rebounded by Oakley.
Thorpe controlling that ball with one hand. Looks nice, but when it comes time to shoot it, you need that other hand in there to balance the shot. And he just used the one hand.
Smith open. Yes. The Knicks continue to swing the ball effectively, finding the open man. And Charles Smith has hit 4 out of 7 for 8 points.
Once again, Marv, he is so different when he doesn't have someone hanging on him. He has the open shot, and he's been making them. What a nice play by Charles Oakley.
Starks allowed to penetrate, and the Rockets want to talk it over. So the Knicks come roaring out here in the third quarter with 6 unanswered points.
New York Knicks.
Third quarter, we are early, and the Knicks have kept their hot hands early in the third. Our Old Spice leaders, field goal percentage of the opponents, always a very important sign of health. The Knicks leading the NBA. Houston not bad at 46% for their opponents, which is a very good defense. However, look at what's going on tonight. The Knicks at 60% from the field, and the Rockets at 41%. The Knicks are superior at both ends of the court this evening.
And the Knicks on a 13-1 run since the last couple of minutes of the first half. Kenny Smith was rebuffed, but a foul was called. Patrick Ewing called for his second. Smith took a shot in the forehead, and he'll go to the line. Kenny Smith has been quiet tonight. We discussed at the start of the game that he has been on a good offensive roll recently.
Kenny Smith, known to many people sitting here in the Garden tonight as an Archbishop Malloy product they're very proud of. I saw Kenny briefly before the game, asked if he had a few fans here. He said, oh, a couple of hundred, with a big smile. Kenny, a very happy guy.
Knicks lead 68-46. Smith, yes. That time, Charles Smith put the move on Robert Horry. The Knicks 70, the Rockets 46. Houston Rockets come off the win in Philadelphia last night. That stopped the 2-game losing streak. Olajuwon way off. Oakley, one hands. Rockets coming into tonight with 6 wins the last 8 road games. Anthony with the setup, rejected.
Ewing didn't have his balance and shot the ball flat-footed, and the ball got ejected.
Charles Smith stopping Kenny Smith. Ewing, yes. The Knicks 72. The Rockets 46.
The Rockets have lost their defensive impact totally now, and the Knicks are feeling it and responding accordingly.
Olajuwon did not have the shot, got it out to Smith. That's a 3-pointer for Kenny Smith. The Knicks 72. The Rockets 49. Starks And Smith with the rebound as the Knicks continue to control the boards. Anthony, yes. Incredible shooting here by the Knicks. Everything is going in.
Marv, I'm doing a flashback to late November when the Chicago Bulls, tomorrow night's Knicks opponent, were here at the Garden. That game turned out to be a 37-point difference between the Knicks and the Bulls in favor of the Knicks, of course. This game's starting to take that look on.
Well, Starks matching the basket by Ori at the other end. The Knicks 76, the Rockets 51. 4 minutes gone by in the third quarter.
And typically when your offense is cooking as the Knicks is, the defense steps right up. The energy is there now. Nice move inside by Hakeem, but it's all going awry now for the Rockets. That is an offensive foul by Hakeem after that strong rebound. That is his third.
The Houston Rockets, following tonight, will be at Minnesota on Saturday, and then next Tuesday return home to face the 76ers, while the Knicks in the midst of a very difficult stretch. Tomorrow night in Chicago, Sunday afternoon at Orlando. Ori with the box out. Knicks and Bulls have split their two previous meetings. Knicks 7 for 10 in the third quarter. We'll be on the air tomorrow night with Knicks game night at 7:30. Hakeem with 15 points. The Knicks now lead 76 to 53. Tomorrow night will be seen on MSG2 from Chicago. Here's Oakley. Rebounded by Ori. Olajuwon with the spin. Like Smith got a piece of it. Anthony for Smith. Goes between the legs. Sets up Oakley. He's blocked and then stripped by Thorpe. And it looks like Charles took a shot.
Charles needs a dentist, I think.
Oh, Ori did not like that foul by Starks.
Charles took a shot in the right eye.
Robert Ori to the free throw line.
Well, our upper deck trading card cam gives us an angle as Charles Oakley goes in for that shot in his inimitable fashion, but he took a shot in the eye. It's interesting, under the basket, you think you would go up, but Charles goes sideways to shoot the ball, which seems to make it difficult, although lately he's been executing quite effectively under the basket.
He has been finishing things off. Ori hits 1 out of 2, and the Knicks now lead 76-54. Starks coming off the screen. Oakley try to keep it alive. Olajuwon got to it. Rockets on the run. Smith for Thorpe. And Otis Thorpe got a rise out of the crowd with that move. The Knicks lead is now 20. They've led by as many as 26. We're coming up on 6 minutes to go in the third. Olajuwon jumping out. 3-on-2. Maxwell for Smith from downtown. The Knicks try to make it 6 straight wins. 10 of the last 11. Anthony. Greg Anthony continuing his solid play. And he is 5 of 5 from the field. Has 11 points.
Looking at that last steal by Olajuwon, Marv, it reminded me how effective he is with his quickness. And he leads his team in steals by a long shot. Averages over 1.5 a game, which doesn't sound significant, but no one is close to him on the Rockets at stealing the ball.
Oakley called for the foul. That is an impressive number for a center. Guy who goes 7 feet. And he's in the top 35 which is also very impressive, although, as you say, it doesn't sound like a big deal. Here's Maxwell with a finger roll. Nicely done by Vernon Maxwell.
Well, the Rockets are competing hard as if they're not paying attention to the scoreboard.
Anthony Mason replacing Charles Oakley. Mason, Smith, and Ewing up front. That's a traveling violation. Charles Smith claimed that he put it down right.
He did, Charles, but it was too late.
So it is Houston ball as we come up on 5 minutes remaining. Third quarter. Offensive foul on Ori. Second committed by Ori.
When you go up for that jump shot, as Charles Smith did, he would have, his feet are off the ground, he would have to have the ball on the ground before his feet hit the ground to make it legal, but his feet came down before the ball hit the floor.
The Knicks have won 6 of their last 7 here at the Garden. Patrick Ewing extending to an 80-58 Knick lead. Overall at home, they've won 20, and they have lost 4. Mason puts between the legs, feeding Anthony. Back out for Starks. Knicks again move the ball around, looking for the best possible shot. And Starks finds it. Three-pointer for John Starks. The Knicks lead 83-58.
You know, that shot took the heart out of the Rockets. I mean, they all looked up at the scoreboard as if to say, oh. It's just the look the whole team had.
Maxwell for 3. This may be the best Knick performance of the season. There have been many high moments. Victory over Portland here. They blow out over Chicago. But this has to be right there. I mentioned the Knicks 20-4 here at home. The best home records: Phoenix 19-1, Seattle 19-3. The Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs at 20-4. Robert Horry called for that last Houston foul. He now has 3 apiece on Olajuwon, Horry, and Thorpe. Scott Brooks back on the floor for the Rockets. Here's Campbell who just checked in. Everything's going in.
Mark, the Chicago game you mentioned was November 28th. The Portland game was December 1st. It has been a long time since this kind of performance has been executed here at the Garden by the Knicks.
Knicks shooting 60% from the field. Olajuwon was fouled. Anthony Mason called for the foul. There's Bo Kimball, dressed in a Knick uniform. He was reactivated on Monday, did not make it to his hometown of Philadelphia for the game on Monday. Eric Anderson sprained an ankle the other day against Miami, and Bo is back from the injured list. Might see some action. I can foresee extensive garbage time here tonight. Kimball was out with a hip injury and had been on the injured list since November 15th. I should say an alleged hip injury. I have a feeling that it did heal, but the Knicks were not about to make a roster change, so Bo is back.
Well, I think the fans who come to the games here are missing one aspect of Bo now that he's back in uniform, and that is his very fashionable attire. Bo, a man of many colors and many wardrobes.
The Knicks lead 85-59 as we come up on 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Mason. Ewing looking for the reverse. He's got it and the foul.
Patrick's doing a flashback. I can read his mind.
And a technical foul has been called.
There have been 2 seconds to go.
It's on Winston Garland, who has been ejected. That's his second technical foul. And technical foul number 5 for the game. Winston Garland. The tee. And Sleepy Floyd We'll check in. Apparently, a double technical was called on Garland. That's checking my extensive technical rundown list. Let's see now. Ewing and Mason for the Knicks. Court for Houston, along with Rudy Tomjanovich, and now 2 on Garland.
Marv, I was suggesting that Ewing, doing a quick reflection, is thinking, why does it seem so easy tonight? He works so hard all the time, but tonight everything seems to be coming to him and going his way, and the shots are falling. It's like a dream sequence almost.
Here's Thorpe. Rebound Olajuwon. Crowd wanted to travel. If you ask the Rockets right now if you could stop the game and they could leave, as Tony Campbell makes it 4 out of 7, you think they would be fine?
I think all with the exception of Kennard Winchester.
Yes.
He might want to come out and show his former team that he's still got it.
Kennard has not seen action in quite some time. Sat out the last 8 games. 91-59 is the score. Another man who's seen very little action. Sleepy Floyd getting some playing time. Olajuwon just did beat the 24. The Knicks now lead 91-61. 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Mason with the head fake. Oh, what a shot by Anthony Mason. The Knicks 93, the Rockets 61. Now, a coach will never admit to this, John, and you can't play a perfect game. Be it college basketball, the NBA, as Olajuwon has fouled, but you can't get much closer to what we've seen here tonight.
We'll go looking for some turnovers.
Timeout call. We'll be right back.
Has been good teamwork for the Knicks all night. Mason, the Starks, Ewing, back to Starks. Let me get out to that three-point range so the officials really know where I am. Bang! John Starks with a three-point shot, and it's a solid game. And we're looking at a happy Knicks team going into the fourth quarter.
And we may not see any more of this man, Patrick Ewing, replaced by Herb Williams. The numbers on Ewing, 11 of 15 from the field, 2 of 3 from the line, 24 points, along with 9 rebounds. It was the early shooting of Ewing that got the Knicks on the roll. Last touch by Mason. It will be Houston ball. Minute 33 to go in the third quarter. The Knicks for the game at 61%. 40 for 66 from the field. Olajuwon, the Knicks now lead 93-64.
I want to make a prediction. This game will have some tense moments in it ahead.
These on the floor, you're talking about with yourself personally?
I'm talking about on the floor. And I'm not saying it's going to get to be a 5-10 point game, but I'm saying there will be. Based on
law of average.
Law of average. Team Olajuwon.
I disagree with you.
Remember through 3 quarters in Houston, the
your predictions usually do not bode well.
No, they're very good, actually.
Only in your own mind.
This guy is such a competitor. He's the one. I mean, I'm basing it all on Olajuwon, and he's the one that's going to get Patrick Ewing back into the game, perhaps, and Pat Riley a little nervous. Let's see.
John, in the past, we have never brought up the erroneous predictions at the end because we do not want to embarrass you. But in this instance, we will reflect back on this particular moment because you're so cocky about this. It's a goal. Greg Anthony giving the Knicks a 97-66 lead.
However, I will withdraw it the minute Olajuwon leaves the game. If Rudy Tomjanovich throws the towel in, I'll change. So,
John, who cares? I mean, that's ridiculous.
I just want to keep you awake, Marv.
20 seconds remaining in the third. Ori blows the stop. And here comes Mason for Blackman. Yes. The Knicks lead 99-66 as the third quarter winds down. Does Floyd realize yes, apparently he did. That's why they call him Sleepy. Hits a three-pointer in very casual fashion. That's the end of 3. The Knicks 99, the Rockets 69.
Coming up after we conclude our basketball coverage tonight, another very special edition of Live from the Play-by-Play with Mike Francesa, Billie Jean King, Michael Douglas, and Timothy Hutton, whose movie The Temp opens tomorrow. Timothy, we're here with Laura Finn Boyle, who your co-star and a very evil employee together from the ads of the movie.
Yeah, she comes to work for me in the movie, and she's a great secretary in the beginning, and things turn out a little different in the end, and I should be suspecting her, but I'm not, and anyway.
Did you have trouble playing such a vicious employee?
It was incredibly difficult, yeah.
Being such a nice person.
Yeah.
And Marv, remember one thing, when I fill in for you, I'm a temp. Back to you, Marv.
Would you explain that to me, John? Thank you so much, Al. The Knicks 99, the Rockets 71. Herb Williams now up front with Anthony Mason, who drew the foul, and Tony Campbell, Rolando Blackman, and Doc Rivers in the backcourt. Carl Herrera called for the foul. The Knicks with 37 points in the third quarter. There is Hakeem sitting down, so you have withdrawn your absurd statement that was made just moments ago.
It was very good. If Hakeem was out there, he'd be competing hard, and he came up with
right back,
a 20-point quarter, and it got down to 15. Pat Riley would be sweating, major perspiration. But now that's unlikely to happen.
The Knicks with 37 points in the third, establishing a high for a quarter this season. They had 35 on a couple of occasions. And with the 99 points after three quarters, that also a high for the season. Right now, the Knicks with a 100-73 lead. Scott Brooks in the backcourt with Eric Sleepy Floyd. Matt Bullard is up front with Tree Rollins and Carl Herrera. Herrera backing Mason. Goes to the hook.
Well, tonight is the 10th situation where the Rockets have played back-to-back games. Last night they were in Philadelphia. Tony Campbell from good range on that shot. The record says they are 1-8 in back-to-back situations, so the Rockets are being haunted by those numbers tonight here in New York.
And Bullard was hacked. Matt Bullard to the line. Fouled by Tony Campbell. Campbell off the bench to hit 5 out of 8. 10 points. Look at this shooting. Campbell 5 of 8. Mason 4 of 7. Stark 7 of 13. Anthony 6 for 6. Smith 6 for 9. Ewing 11 of 15. 6 Knicks in double figures.
Knicks have done big work around the basket. Dutch Boy in the paint points that out. The Knicks owning the boards, owning the field goal percentage shooting consistently throughout the game. The Knicks have been at that 60% mark.
The Knicks 102, the Houston Rockets 74. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Mason with the head fake. Rebounded by Bullard. And Herrera colliding with Blackman, trying to set the pick. And they call it on Blackman. Rolando felt it was a moving screen, but does not get the call, and Bullard will throw in. Another capacity crowd here at the Garden. 19,763. Brooks was stripped. 2-on-1. Rivers, Campbell exchange. Campbell with the reverse. Rebounded by Herrera. 23rd shutout of the season. And this the 25th home game for the Knicks. Floyd for 3. Rebound tip missed by Rollins. And back comes Rivers. Rivers posting up. Yes. Doc Rivers taking advantage of the 5'11" Scott Brooks. The Knicks lead by 30.
Important thing is Rivers got the ball to do that, and that's what's happening with the Knicks now. They're recognizing matchups.
Well, Tree Rollins showing the hook shot, a rare part of his repertoire. Tree Rollins in his 16th NBA season, 30 37 years old. Second oldest active player behind Robert Parrish of the Celtics. Parrish at 39. Floyd, Knicks 104, and the Rockets 76.
Matter of fact, only Parrish and Kareem have played in the NBA for a longer period. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar playing 20 seasons.
And the call against the Knicks. Offensive foul on Blackman. And, well, here he is, John. You mentioned the name, Kennard Winchester, one-time New York Knicks, spent last season with the Knicks. Spent some time with Houston in 91-92 and back with the Rockets, making his first appearance in 9 games.
He played a very big role for the Knicks last year as they entered the playoffs. Kennard is the one who said, let's go black. Let's wear those black sneakers in the playoffs and give off some of that Oakland Raider image, you know, and it worked. Kennard didn't get enough credit for that.
Hubert Davis coming on for the first time. Did not play at all against the Sixers Monday night in Philadelphia. Crowd chanting, "We want Bowley," who has not played in a regular season game with the Knicks. Nice recovery by Mason. We saw a bit of Bo Kimball during preseason, but has not seen any regular season activity as a member of the Knicks. Well, Sleepy Floyd, who has not been getting the playing time, has hit on 3 out of 4. He has 7 points. The Knicks 106, the Rockets 78. 7.5 remaining in the game. Herb Williams. And the chant continues for Bo Kimball. Bo Kimball reactivated Monday. And a reach-in foul called on the Knicks.
A lot of pressure on Pat Riley now with 7-11. Very lucky number, Marv, by the way. 7-11 left in the game. Can Pat withstand this chant is the question.
Bo Kimball, who came to the Knicks as part of the Mark Jackson, Charles Smith, Doc Rivers deal. Coming from the Los Angeles Clippers. Rollins off the head fake, not able to hit. And here comes Davis for Campbell. Blackman for 3. Yes. The Knicks 109 for the Rockets 78. And here comes Bo Kimball. Well, Pat Riley in a generous mood tonight. Answering the chant from the crowd. And that at least will keep the game interesting. Maybe that's what Pat had in mind. Here's Bullard for 3. And it will be Nick Ball. All right, Bo Kimball checking in. Will make his New York Knicks debut. And we'll be back with that moment.
Wearing Ron's steel shirt, Jeremiah has added fiberglass reinforcing strips under his sleeve as protection from the crush power of the jaws. Much to his surprise, the shark exerts minimal pressure. It may be quite a different matter when tested underwater. Turn to the sea.
Justice. And Mike's royalty tips from Nike.
That's all, folks.
That's my client's line. It says so in my deal.
Jeez, what a pig.
A reminder, tomorrow night, MSG2 for the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls, meeting for the 3rd time this season. Will be on hand in Chicago, where they are talking about what took place last night in the game against the Indiana Pacers. Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller going at each other, and Reggie Miller was thrown out, as was Indiana coach Bob Hill. Michael Jordan was not.
And that's why Bob Hill slammed his clipboard down. That happened in Indiana.
Well, Bo Kimball has has checked in, making his Knicks debut. That's satisfying the crowd. They were chanting for Bo. Comes up with a loose ball.
I'm watching Bo Marv before the game out here shooting. Most of his shots were going in the basket.
Mason got the step. And he is fouled, or let's see. Mason claiming he was fouled. No, apparently not. They're saying that he blew the stuff and it caromed out of bounds. 5:45 remaining in this fourth quarter. The Knicks 109, the Rockets 78. Here's Bullard. And Herrera. Rollins. Winchester fouled by Williams. Back to the subject of Bo Kimball. He's 26 years old, out of Philadelphia. He had an All-American career at Loyola Marymount. Spent 2 years with the Los Angeles Clippers, a #1 draft pick of the Clippers. Considered to be a disappointment. First season averaged just under 7 per game. Last year, injury-hit season, played 34 games, averaged only 3 points per contest. And, you know, we've talked about it before when the so-called 12th man has come onto the floor, and this takes place here in New York. It takes place in Boston, throughout the NBA. The crowd chanting for that player, and we've discussed what goes through a guy's mind because he's being treated with sarcasm. Here's Mason from Kimball, who picks up an assist. Now, usually it is not a notable player in terms of his collegiate career. Bullard gets inside, and the Knicks now lead 111-82. But in the case of Bo Kimball, you're talking about a guy who had a standout college career. Certainly there are questions about his defense and other phases of his game, but he was a scorer and was very well thought of, a #1 draft pick. And I don't think he's thrilled about this type of situation as Hubert Davis is able to convert.
I don't know, Marv. I think he's so happy to be in uniform and being given a chance to show his skills, and I think the fans greeted him nicely, you know.
That's not sincere, though. I mean, they're poking at the fact that...
I don't know. I don't get that feeling.
All right.
But executed a nice pass, by the way, to Mason a moment ago.
Mike Campbell called for the foul. Right here, let's go over to Bob Page.
Late third at Charlotte, Scott Skiles will beat the double team to Nick Anderson, who throws it down in Alonzo's face and gets the call. Part of a 13-3 run that gave the Magic a 5-point lead. They now trail by 2, though.
All right, Bob, Orlando comes in at 22-21. They are in 4th place, 7 games behind the first-place Knicks. And a game and a half behind 3rd place Boston. Here's Kimball with his first attempt. Yes! Kimball, who can shoot, hits on his first field goal attempt as a New York Knick.
That's just great. Gotta be so happy for the guy. What a feeling he must have. You know, Mark, back to that feeling, though. Is he happy or unhappy with the crowd cheering? You know, it probably a lot depends on the guy's attitude in general.
Bernard Winchester scoring on Bo Kimball, who was called for that foul.
I think if the guy's highly sensitive or depending on what his makeup is, he may feel funny. Here's Bo Kimball's field goal debut as a New York Knicks player. He's one of the guys now.
The Knicks 115, the Rockets 86. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. We talked about, in affectionate terms, extensive garbage time. This more than extensive, the way this game has gone. Here's Floyd. Mason called for the foul, and Floyd will go to the line.
Floyd is still a very skilled player. A rare sight. Sleepy smiling. Our overhead trading card cam gives us this view from upper deck as Floyd goes in and shows you that beautiful move around the basket that we've seen many, many times from him.
Knicks 115, Rockets 89. Kimball again. Rebound, Rollins. Floyd leading Winchester. Who can leap? We saw that on a number of occasions last season.
Kennard hasn't played in the last 8 games for Houston, so he's enjoying a run now.
115-91 Knicks. And a holding foul on Winchester. Pat Riley has Herb Williams, Anthony Mason, and Tony Campbell up front. Hubert Davis, Bo Kimball at the guards.
I can't help but think, Marv, of 10th to 12th men in the NBA who are greeted by fans and thought of by professional fans in a certain manner. And yet, throughout their lifetimes, those 10th, 11th, and 12th men in the NBA are legends to all who know them or who have seen them from the age of, say, 14 through 20, you know? Legends.
Here's Campbell. Well, Campbell is fouled by Winchester. That goes back to the days of Hawthorne Wingo and Greg Butler and Nate Bowman, Henry Finkel, Eric Fernston, just to name.
With friends, use good sense and drink responsibly because friends know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
Well, Bo Kimball making his New York Knicks debut, hit his first field goal attempt, has come up with an assist. He's 1 for 2 thus far. 2:34 remaining in this fourth quarter. Knicks lead 115-91. Tony Campbell to the line. Now, there are fans who are filing out now, but it's amazing how many have stayed with it despite the blowout that has been going on since the third quarter. And Michael Douglas among those remaining. And he will be on the guest list. Mike Francesa from the Play-by-Play Club following our coverage of the Knicks and the Houston Rockets. A very impressive performance by the New York Knicks. 116-91 the score. Herrera to the reverse. And back comes Mason.
Anthony's getting a chance to practice those point guard skills.
Last touched by the Rockets. The Knicks hitting a number of seasonal milestones, 37 points in the third quarter. That is a high. They had 99 points after 3. First time this year the Knicks have had 3 30-point quarters. And spectacular shooting right throughout. They've been around 60% for the game. Right now they're at 57. Bullard with the steal. And here's Floyd with just under 2 minutes remaining. Hubert Davis. That is his second field goal.
He's such a beautiful shooter, and it's nice to see him remind Pat Riley in game conditions he can be called upon to come through.
John, you look at the scoreboard, it really doesn't tell the story. 118-93 seems much closer than what has taken place. The Knicks at 1 point led by as many as 33. And they will make it 6 in a row for their longest win streak of the season. Davis is rejected by Rollins. They also will make it 10 wins of the last 11 games, and they will have a 4-game lead on the New Jersey Nets. Bullard with a stumbling baseline move.
Doesn't it seem like an eternity since we saw Patrick Ewing on the floor?
Campbell. Well, it was Ewing who set the tone early. Came out on fire, hit his first 5 shots. Olajuwon got an early foul difficulty, picked up 2, and was lifted. And the Knicks were able to take advantage. Herrera and Kimball with the rebound. Mason with Floyd back. For Campbell, Knicks 120, Rockets 93. So it's the Knicks and the Chicago Bulls in another major test. Tomorrow night in Chicago will be on MSG2 tomorrow night, starting with Knicks game night at 7:30. Here's Campbell eluding Bullard, 122-93. Most points this season scored by the Knicks. Sleepy Floyd scoring for Houston The other night, the Knicks with 120. Right here, 122. Crowd wants Bo to launch one, and he does. Yes! Woo! Oh, great! 125-95. Kimball with the steal. Shoot it, they say, but he will not. And that's how it concludes.
He's got a good sense of theater. You can't top what he just did.
So Bo Kimball finishes up hitting 2 out of 3, including that three-pointer, 5 points for Kimball. And the Knicks defeat the Rockets 125-95. They go to 31-15, 6 straight wins, 10 of their last 11.